Hi, my name is Norman Barclift. I'm a National Accounts Manager at BASF, located in RTP, North Carolina. I work as our National Accounts Business Manager. I work in our professional products and solutions business. So that pretty much covers professional pest management. So we sell to companies like Orkin, Terminex, who come out and do structural pest control at your home. You may have seen a truck outside of your house to keep your inside of your house safe from insects and bugs. Bees, wasps, roaches, rats. We also work in our commercial space, which is the same thing. So when you go to restaurants, when you go to stores, you don't see insects and things crawling around. So we sell products and solutions that help prevent those things from invading places where they shouldn't be. I also work in our turf and ornamental business, and that covers professional lawn care. So if you have someone at your house who comes out and does treat your grass and they make it greener to keep the weeds out of your lawn, we sell products for that as well. We also sell products that keep the golf courses that you may play on nice and clean. So if you just recently watched the Masters, you saw how beautiful those fairways were. So they utilize our products to help keep those places looking very nice and clean. And then finally, we also work in what's called the ornamental business. And that's where if you were to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you buy your mother's flowers for Mother's Day. We actually treat products as they're grown in the greenhouses to help support their growth and keep diseases away and insects out so that they're nice and beautiful when you go to the store to pick them up and give them to your mother. So a little bit about me. So I am a military kid. My father was in the Air Force. I traveled a lot growing up. And when I say I traveled a lot growing up, I went to 3 high schools in 4 years, just to give you an idea. I lived in countries such as Germany, islands called the Azores off the coast of Portugal, lived in California, all over the place. So I thought I was going to be a computer science major when I was in high school. And then I was recruited by the Dean of Agriculture at Delaware State University, who brought me in, and he sold me on this thing called agriculture in about 30 minutes. I will say the full ride scholarship also helped in that decision, and I said I would try it out, and if it didn't work out, I would change majors and go back and do something else. So I ended up staying in it. I got my Bachelor of Science degree in agricultural business. After that, I decided to go straight on to my master's, where I worked on research for horticulture. I ended up getting my master's degree in agricultural extension and education. I thought I wanted to be a professor, and this is what happens as you're on your educational journey. Things kind of shift and change, and I remember one night I was doing research on a Saturday night, sitting up under a hood, and that's where you do experiments with plants. And I was all by myself at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I said, you know what, I think I'm a people person, so I think I might want to try something else. So once I graduated and got my master's, I decided to get into the sales field. So I went and I started working, and as I was working, I really decided I wanted to get into marketing, and that led me to go and start my other master's at Wake Forest, where I got my MBA with a concentration in marketing. Yeah, when you see the transformation, especially in agriculture, and this especially, as I said, I started 20 years ago, and just to see the technology changes that had happened to where I would use a phone on a phone cord to having my first cellular phone when I was in college, where I didn't have email when I first started college. By the time I got into my master's program, I had my first email account. So to see this continual transformation that is happening, we've also seen it within the industry. Just the way that tractors are now, I mean, they're like little mini cockpits that you can go in and drive around and have automated driving. And so just seeing all these different shifts, it's happened so fast, and it's really built on that foundation of the digital evolution, which is where we're at right now. So I think you're going to continue to look for and find jobs in this space. And as I said, these jobs may not exist today as we continue to grow from a digital standpoint. You're just going to see a lot of new jobs that are not there today. So I would just say keep your ear to the ground, keep ahead of the trends and what's happening. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of opportunities out there for you. Yeah, so talking about where could you be financially? Of course, we work to live, we don't live to work, right? So it's really important that when you think about your first job. You may not go out there and be the Mark Zuckerberg and start your own business and you become a billionaire right out the gate, right? Sometimes your first job, your earning potential could only be between $40,000 and $60,000, depending on the job that you're looking at. The key thing is that actually it can grow really quickly, and I've seen it myself in my own career path. As I continue to got my education and do different things and build on my work experiences, I started having more and more job opportunities. And next thing you know, you're able to either double and even triple your salary, depending on what type of jobs that you're looking for from back when you first started out. So again, you can be on a path of being an executive in a company, and you can make well over $500,000 a year when you start looking at base salary, stock options, long-term incentives, short-term incentives. So there's just, again, your earning potential. It's all up to you on what you really want to do with your career and where you're comfortable at being. You can find a job and be good and steady, making $100,000 a year. It really comes up to you and the work that you're willing to put in, but I do promise you those opportunities are there. So typically when you first start out in your career, you may start off as a trainee. We have a lot of different type of professional development programs where you come in, you do rotations amongst different businesses. You may do that from 6 months to a year. And then when you get kind of located into a specific business, typically your job title could be specialist, as an example. So it could be marketing specialist. The natural progression after that is you may become a product manager in the field of marketing. And then after that, you can become a senior product manager. And then your next job title after that, you can end up being a head or a lead of a marketing group. And then you elevate, you can go into director of marketing, you go into the level of vice president, and then ultimately president or CEO, depending on where you want to go. So that's typically the line of, from a marketing standpoint, the roles that you can get. So interesting. As you go through your career journey, and as I talked about this before in my educational shift where I thought I wanted to be a college professor, the same thing happened professionally. I did marketing for around 15, 16 years. And I really wanted an opportunity to do something different, and I decided I wanted to make a shift and get into the commercial sales role. So I shifted and took this role here at BASF where I lead national accounts. So what we do is we sell to large distribution companies who then sell to people who utilize our product at the end use level, if it's a pest control operator or golf course superintendent. So I work with I have a team of people that report to me. I have 9 direct reports, and they all manage and work strategically with these very large distribution customers. And I manage that team, and I really help set our distribution strategy. Where do we want to go? How do we produce the profit and income for our company? Well, I believe everyone, when they're working, always asks this question to people, what do you want to be remembered for when your career is all said and done? What is your brand going to stand for? If you were to look at the McDonald's logo, or if you look at the BMW logo, the ultimate driving machine, what do you want to be known for? For me, it's really important that first I want to be known as a person who can bring a vision to life. What is that we are all marching in the same direction? What goal do we want to accomplish? And in order to do that, the other word I like to be known for is the connection. I want to be able to connect people to that vision, to that goal, so that we can all come together. The third piece, which is one of the most important pieces to me, is development. I love working with talent, young talent, people who may not understand exactly what they want to do yet, help them develop and get to their own goals and achievements and what they want to accomplish. And then finally, that fourth word I want to be known for is enjoy. I believe in working hard and playing hard, having fun while we're doing it. I tell you, if there's ever a day when I wake up and I say I don't want to go to work that day, I know it's time for me to do something else. I truly enjoy what I do, and I want people to enjoy it as much as I do. One of the biggest challenges for me was probably really early in my career. Again, you're trying to figure it out. One thing I always tell students is, when it comes to your first job, you really have to have flexibility. You may not live in the place that you thought that you were going to live, but know it's just a stop on a very long journey. So I'll never forget, again, I grew up on military bases all over the world. I was more of a city kid, and I'm going into this place called agriculture, and I get this first job as a sales rep, and I had to move to a town called Lima, Ohio. If you haven't heard of it, you wouldn't hear of it. It's a very small town in Ohio. And it was just I was young, didn't really know anybody, living in a farming community. So it was just really challenging for me. But what it did, it pushed me, I was naturally introverted, but it really pushed me to be more extroverted. And that just helps with that growth and development, where I'm able to connect with people. And it's really hard to do that, again, when people may not be familiar with you, and how do you break into, that culture that you're now living in. But I tell you, it was a great experience. I stayed dedicated to get to know people, keep my arms open and not closed, really get to know people. And then, by the time I left that place, I was there a year and a half, and it was just one of my best experiences. And I keep in touch with a lot of those people today from 20 years ago. The highlight of my career is I have had an opportunity to work abroad twice. So one time I worked in France, and I lived there for a year. Then I also lived in Brazil. And I tell you, it was just an amazing experience, embracing myself in this new culture, not speaking the Portuguese language. It really challenged me, but it was also just so fulfilling. And I had such a great team of people that I built this team from 3 people to 18 people. And it was just a lot of work, a lot of fun. I was traveling all over Latin America, from Mexico to Chile to Argentina to Colombia. And it was just such a fulfilling and rewarding experience. I loved every minute of it. And I tell you, I was happy that I did not let the fear of the unknown cripple me, because I would not have had a chance to experience that. And it was one of the most memorable times of my life and career. A typical day for me is I first start off the first hour of my day reading email, looking at my schedule for the day, understanding, what maybe are the possible challenges that may impact me that day. I tell you, in a typical work week, I guarantee you something unexpected is going to pop up. You got to have that flexibility to jump in, and you want to have that flexibility in your schedule. I think really scheduling is really important to be disciplined, because if you're not, you're going to end up working not just your typical 8-hour workday, but you're going to be working into the night, and that's going to take away from your work-life balance, your ability to connect with your family and your friends, and it's not going to make you happy at work the next day. So I think, scheduling that first part of my day is so important to make sure I'm going to accomplish all the objectives I need to accomplish that day. Then it'll be typically I do video calls with customers, or I do phone calls with members of my team to do coaching sessions, or I get business updates and see what's happening. Then I also have my internal team, leadership team that I serve on, and typically throughout the day I'm meeting with them, also trying to see what hot topics are out there and address those. Extracurricular activities are extremely important, especially when you're in college and you're looking for your first job. But you're not going to have a lot of this professional background where you can talk about your leadership skills. But those extracurricular activities, those are the things where if you go on and you're president of an organization, or you're vice president or treasurer, it really helps to develop, and you can be able to talk about the leadership skills when you're doing your first interviews, looking for your first job. I think extracurricular activities are one of the most important things you can do in college. The academics are, of course, paramount, but those extracurricular activities are important. So for me, I worked for an organization called MANRRS. It's Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. And within that, I started off as, the chapter president at my university. I went on to be regional vice president for the Northeast, carrying, I think it was 10 different chapters, and I was the leader of those chapters. Then I went on ultimately to be, as I got older, the national president of the entire organization. But it all started with, me working at the college level. I also was in a fraternity as well, and I also served as president of that fraternity. So again, just those things really helped give me an edge when I went in to do my first interviews for my first job outside of college. Thank you for joining me today for our career conversation. Really enjoyed speaking with you. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. My information is here on the screen. Look forward to connecting with you. I wish you the best of luck on your career journey. Just remember to stay focused, stay dedicated. You're going to hit those hurdles in life. You just continue to push through them, and you can be able to get to where you want to be.